Hello, good morning, moms and dads. Hello, children. How are you spending today? What have you been doing today? Have you been looking forward to our story session? Okay, thank you very much. My name is Hannah Yawuzua Jepong, International Poet of Merit Award winner, TEDx speaker, public speaker, and live storyteller. And the past weeks we have been listening to a version of an old Anansi story. The Anansi stories were created by our ancestors. I don't know how old those stories are, but these stories were created by the ancestors to teach children in wisdom and to teach them about human behavior. And so they used Anansi, the spider, as a legend. He's been the character that has a lot of stories created about. And Anansi actually could be very clever. But sometimes he's not so clever. Like human beings, nobody is clever all the time, and nobody gets it wrong all the time. So I think the ancestors did very well by choosing Anansi and making him the hero who sometimes falls flat on his face. So we have been looking at the story of Anansi and Onini. Onini is the big, long, bad snake. And in our first story sessions, we discovered how Anansi became the most clever, awesome, and wise creature in all of the animal kingdom. And then we finished our story because he had achieved something that all the other animals thought was impossible. Anyway, so this series, which is going to end today, is about who? Of course, when you were listening. If you were listening, then you would know that it's about a farmer and his wife. And what work did they do? Yes, they raised chickens, and the chickens laid eggs. And so they could sell the chickens and so also sell the eggs. Then one day, what happened? They heard the chickens clucking in the middle of the night. Cluck, 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 cluck. And it was because Onini had slithered into the chicken shed. And he had some of the chickens for a meal and also swallowed some of the eggs. And so, as you remember, the farmer and his wife decided to set a trap to catch Onini, because Onini seemed to come only in the middle of the night. And the trap they set for Onini worked. The trap caught Onini, and Onini couldn't get out. So Onini was crying for help, wasn't he? You were listening, weren't you? Okay, so when you were listening to this story, and Onini was crying for help, which animals went to help him? Because there were the mice didn't want to do that, the rat didn't want to do that, and the porcupine didn't want to do that. But there were two little rabbits who were very kind-hearted. They wanted to help Onini get out of the trap. So what happened when they got Onini out? Of course, you are very good listeners. Very, very well done. Yes, they helped Onini. It was hard work, but they helped Onini to get out of the trap. And then what happened? When Onini got out of the trap, what happened? Onini was so hungry. Because of the trap, he couldn't get any chickens or eggs. So Onini decided to eat up the rabbits instead. Really? Okay, you remember that part as well. And then the rabbits were so afraid. And so Anansi came to help them. And what did Anansi do? Do you remember? Very good. Anansi said he did not believe that Onini was in that trap. And if Onini was in that trap, he did not believe that those little 2 rabbits could get him out. And so what Anansi did was, he said to Onini, I want to see it for myself. And if it is true that you were in this trap and the little rabbits got you out, I want to see it. So Onini agreed, like he did before, and slithered back into the trap. And the trap door was slammed shut. So Onini coiled himself again and started saying, oh, it's too tight here. Let me out, let me out. And Anansi said, nobody is going to let you out. Not this time. Because these 2 little rabbits, they helped you. They worked so hard. Look at their little jaws. They caught the handle of the trapdoor into their teeth and they started to pull. And now, instead of you saying thank you to them, you are going to eat them up. So, Onini, this is where you stay. And they all left him there in the trap. So last week we got to where the farmer and his wife woke up in the morning wondering whether the trap had worked. And they went and saw Onini in the cage trap that they had made. And last week I asked you, what do you think should be done to Onini? Okay, you all give me answers. Do you think Onini should be thrown into a big pit and covered up? Do you think Onini should be killed? Do you think Onini should be taken somewhere far away where he couldn't find his way back to the chicken shed? Well, the farmer and his wife, they said to all the children in the village, if we killed Onini, you would not know what Onini looks like because most of you have not seen Onini. You've heard about Onini, but you have not seen Onini. And so, what they decided to do was to take Onini to the village zoo, where all the children could go and see what Onini really does look like. And so, the zookeeper in the village made a rather big cage for Onini so he could not slither out, but he got fed. So I think Onini somehow won because he doesn't have to go out now and look for food. Onini is being kept in the zoo and is being fed. So next time you visit the zoo, anywhere you are in the world, go and ask to see Onini. Maybe the zookeeper doesn't know what is called Onini. And then you can tell the zookeeper, Onini is the big, long, bad snake, otherwise known as the python. Thank you very much for joining me on today's session. I would like you to start to write your own story. And next week, I'll give you an example of 2 girls who wrote a story which I have published into a book. So start writing your own story. You can write about what you did today. You can write about the family pet. You can write about what you did last summer. Because of the lockdown, nobody can go out now to the park as we used to. My grandchildren and I love picnics. Oh, we love picnics. We go to the park and have picnics, or we go for a walk in the woods. We have a lot of woodland around where we live, so it's always fun. And the grandkids love to climb the trees. And so whatever it is that you've done last summer, if you want to write about it, get mommy and daddy to help you. Okay? And you write stories. Auntie Hannah needs to know more stories. So when you write more stories and you allow me, give me permission, Auntie Hannah can read your story on Facebook Live and mention your name as well. That's fantastic. So thank you so much for joining me today, and goodbye. See you next Thursday.